My view is that messaging and this new media is, it's rapidly changing. I made some notes. In '95, there were only 16 million people in the world using the internet. Today, we have 3.2 billion, which is 51% of the world's population nearly. In 2006, there were 12 million active users on Facebook. Today, there are 2.07 billion active users. Now, with that kind of reach, and of course, I can go on and on about Twitter, etc. With that kind of instant reach, governments have known to, possibly get toppled. Terrorists have used this media, so it's being used for both good and bad. Like His Excellency talked about emergency situations. In fact, his minister gets tweets on emergency visas and she reacts straight away. So there are a lot of positives and lots of negatives. My own view is that this messaging, the way our whole communication was in the past, has completely been revamped and instantaneous. And not only corporations, not only politicians, not only bureaucrats, lawyers, courts, opinion makers, all of them have now instant access to the rest of the 3.2 billion, like I said, who are on the internet. Unfortunately, as far as India is concerned, we don't have any comprehensive law as yet, though it's been talked about by both the Supreme Court and the bureaucracy that we need to have some sort of regulation. My fear is that when you start to regulate this impossible monstrosity, if I can call it that, you'll have more bad than good. Because it's very difficult to regulate, or let me put it this way. So today, if you look at the social media, you look at the new media, it's being regulated only through the process of a crime. That if you have defamed somebody or you've incited some communal tensions, etc., only after that the action is taken, but the deed is done. The murder has happened. And so that's the challenge. How do you regulate it before it hits, before the bullet is fired? What we are doing now is that after the bullet gets fired, we tend to try and get it back in or do something about it. Self-regulation is the only way forward. Now let me back up and explain my statement. Today, the way we do legislation, the way we bring regulations, the way we bring policy, all of this is all retroactive. None of it is proactive. When the horses are bolted, we'll try and bring in 15 different sections to try and fix, say, money laundering. Now, for example, our own Income Tax Act, and I'm a proud Indian, don't get me wrong, the American one is 50 times worse than us. We have a Section 80 for deductions in the Income Tax Act. People started misusing it. They started making subsections, 80A, 80AA, 80AAB. Today we have 80VVA. So we plug one and 17 open up more. Similarly, exploding here, the world has to change its methodology and its system of how legislation is done. Till we don't do that, we'll always be playing catch up. And this is way, way ahead of everything else. Now just let me give you the reason why companies like LinkedIn, it's in their interest to self-regulate and make sure the 3 points Sohail made, especially of communal and terrorism, etc. If their own artificial intelligence can pull out and ban and block those negative, which could create those problems very accurately, that is the solution. Just this year, social media has made $41 billion in advertising, just this year. The big data analysis has enhanced the business in the world business by $150 billion. So it is clearly the new oil. I mean, these were cliches. It is clearly the new oil. And the soft power is clearly there. So my advice is that companies like LinkedIn and others, all companies in this space, they really need to self-regulate and accurately. And they have now with artificial intelligence. Actually, we are having an algorithm made just in our Indian courts. Today, the data is available. Which lawyer appears before which judge takes how long to give a certain type of order. I can actually accurately predict what is the outcome of the case. And when will you get it? By just analyzing the 1700 or 1800 cases a particular judge has done, which lawyers appeared before him, so the corruption side of it potentially can all be exposed very easily and transparently. All of this is available. Now, if we can do that I'll give you another example. eBay. They have a very strict policy that you can't sell any counterfeits, you can't sell any pornographic, you can't, all the way you can't sell it on eBay. But people still do. And they have these crawlers, I don't know what you know the technical words for it. They have these crawlers which keep looking at those keywords, and then they're now calling it meta tagging, then micro tagging. I don't know the technical side of it, you can explain it if they want. But that's all possible. And you can actually pick out stuff before it hits, before that is bolted. And you can do it in nanoseconds. Am I correct, sir?
Interesting.
So that's what they should invest in and do the self-regulation. The the television media tried the self-regulation. Well, Suhail can give you a more pointer on that, but that's how that's supposed to be done. We do have our laws to some extent, but not to any large extent. If you don't want to be a dinosaur very quickly, you better keep up with the Joneses. And by the Joneses, I mean the millennials to start with. It's very, very important to keep on, stay relevant. Mm-hmm. Some of us, I can talk personally of my firm, the older lawyers, they pride themselves and say, oh, we don't look at Facebook. Oh, we don't look at this. By the way, Facebook is now a bit passé.
Oh, is it?
So is WhatsApp. Now it's Telegram. So it changes by every, so you have to keep up with the times. And if you don't, you'll just be a dinosaur very soon. And quicker than the dinosaurs became dinosaurs.